This is a video of the replacement of the gear sector on a Craftsman or Sears GT. What follows in the video is full of mistakes, missteps, blunders, you may call that. You choose if you watch it all. But because of all the things that happened in it, I decided to do a summary of the repair, and then maybe that will be enough and you won't need to watch the rest of it. What I did in order to do the repair, I did remove the cover right there over the whatever so I could reach down. It's tie strapped to some wiring, but if you push it far to the right side, you can get your hand down, and then you can get the ratchet, box end ratchet down pretty good on top of the bolt. You'll see there that the bolt that holds the sector in. Okay, I also, as you can see, have the battery and the battery cross piece that it sits on out so you can get down and reach everything. Within the working on it, I found out I actually got the old sector out fine, got the new one in. Then, as you'll see if you watch, I had to end up removing it again. So you see that bolt right there, it's holding a rod that goes across, and now it acts as a guide for the drive belt. You have to loosen that off just a little enough so the rod moves, and then you can get the sector gear in and out without a problem. Now, a couple of other things I found is the bushings here. You see the bushings, there's the bushings. There's one on the bottom of the sector and one on the top. But what I discovered in doing it is, you can see the flange is just there. It goes on up against the framing. But the aftermarket bushings I bought had a little square knob just under the flange. It looked like it was built there so that it might go into a little notch in the frame and keep the bushing from turning. But I didn't realize that at first, but in my redos in the video, I realized that was going to be a problem because they were just going to crush the bushing and mess it up. So that was one of the things I found. So if you get new bushings, be on the lookout for having that knob on them. The other thing that I messed up on is, you'll see back here again, there's the bolt has a lock washer, another washer, and then two thrust washers. Well, I messed up thinking about the thrust washers, and even though I had taken it apart, washers came off, then the bushing came out. I messed up putting it back together because I couldn't seem to line up the thrust washers. They were just sliding back and forth. I thought, oh, the bushing goes inside. No, it doesn't. That was one of my blunders. What I have to make sure you do is that you get the sector gear all the way up. What I actually did to do that was, once I had it sort of flush, I put this bushing over top of the shaft, and then that washer there over top, put this bolt down through into the shaft, got the ratchet in through the cover there that I noticed, and I was able to draw the shaft up through that bushing so that I had the 1/4 inch of protrusion. That allowed me to put the thrust washers on properly, the bushing in, thrust washers on top, around the shaft, and then tighten her down. So, like I say, the summary might be enough to get the job done, but you can watch it and decide what a crappy video this guy did, and he screwed up many times. So, hope it's helpful. This was a last minute decision to possibly do a video on replacing this steering sector on a GT 5000 Craftsman. There's another video on it. It's not bad, but I thought there was a few differences. First of all, I wanted to show in here. There's the tie rod, which has to be disconnected from that hole there. This part. Now what I did was I actually removed the bolt from the top of that in here. I was able to put a socket and extension. You can see, can we see in there? This isn't working very good. I don't know. Trying to show you the top of where that shaft seemed to get it in the picture here. It's there. It is. See where that bushing is going? Keep pressing pause somehow. You can see that now. Focus there. You can see that bushing that's going in the top. Of course, there's a bushing that goes on the bottom of the shaft. And what I did was I disconnected the tie rod, the drag link. Then I took the bolt out of the top and then started to lower the sector down. Of course, then you can't get it out. Then I realized that I had to take the drag link disconnect. So now working backwards, I've got the bushing on the bottom of it, turned it sort of so that the gears go towards the back to get it up in the hole. And now the shaft is just in the top of the hole. I'm trying to push the bushing down, but I'm trying to not push it back out again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get a long 5/16 bolt with some washers and put it down and see if I can't sort of push the bushing down with the washers while I tighten the bolt and keep the shaft at the top where it needs to be, and then get the proper bolt in. This is the proper bolt here that goes in, but these go on top. There's a thin washer and then a thicker washer that go on top, and then that bolt and the lock washer with the other washer and the lock washer go on top to hold it. So I'm off to get that other longer bolt to see if I can draw it up, and then hope that once it's in place I have no issue getting the drag link back connected. But I did find another video where he turned the wheel a certain way and it brought the drag link back, and because he took the drag link off first, whereas I lowered the shaft and then took the drag link off. So we'll see how this works. So I hope I have enough thread on this. Shadows. Enough thread on, where's this stupid bolt? Enough thread on that, because the top part is unthreaded. So I've got a 3/8 nut and then a small washer and a big washer. I need the big washer big enough to cover that plastic bushing. We'll see how it works. Well, soon I'm going to work on a plan B. It's very hard to, can't turn the bolt down with my finger, and the head of it is right in where the cross shaft is. I don't know if you're seeing any of that or not, because I can't see on the thing here. I can't see. Maybe you can't see. I can't see. None of us can see. But anyway, I can't get the 1/2" wrench on to try and turn it. So what I'm going to do is since the bolt's in the shaft, I'm going to try to lightly use a punch on the washer that's over the bushing and see if I can punch the washer. Okay, before trying the punch trick, what I did was I went under and put the drag link back into the sector, which is a 9/16 nut on top. It's got to hold the bottom part with a 1/2. It's a shame that I'm sure I don't have that part. It's a pretty big drag link diameter, and I don't think I have a new ball joint to put in it, but probably should have one. So now I'm going to prop up the drag link with something to the frame, and that'll probably keep the coming down. It'll keep. Okay, I got cut off because the camera got too hot apparently for doing, the phone got too hot for doing the camera. But I can't get that nut, that bolt quite to grab. So I'm switching from this long one with no threads to the other one right here, which is longer. Hopefully I'll be able to, it'll go down. I'll be able to get a wrench on and tighten it right down, pull the shaft right up, because I think I'm going to have to pull the shaft right up to make sure that the teeth are properly meshed. I might have to turn the steering wheel slightly as I tighten this longer one down, and then I'll take it out. Okay, I've got that shorter bolt in there now, and being shorter, where is it? Yeah, see, it's shorter. There you see it. And the cross member is down below the cross member. Take the cover off of in front of the seat. You can bring your hand down, and I think you can see now how I can get a wrench on that to be able to, yeah, see, now I can draw the shaft, get the bushing down, draw the shaft. So I'll pause this while I finish doing that. If I can get my hand out to hit the pause button. Okay, I was actually able to get the ratchet head on it to get it down. It's almost down all the way. It seems to be that my gear's meshed. There, the wheel's turning. Okay, so now I'm just going to back that one out and get the proper one with proper thrust washers and stuff and Loctite it in, and maybe we're done. Okay, I've just discovered something that I didn't see in the video that I watched, and I'm a bit puzzled by it, because when I took the bolt out, I took those two washers off the top. Then I took the bushing out, but it appears those holes in those, wherever they are, it appears that the holes in those washers are meant to go so that the bushing, the bushing goes through the washers. Nothing, why have a big hole like that? Nothing to center them. I mean, this washer here doesn't center them. So unless that washer goes down inside them, I'll double check. If not, looks like I gotta get that top bushing back out, which means basically doing the whole job over again, so that I can put those washers on, and then with the bushing to sort of hold them. Something I can think of. Anybody else knows any more of this, they can make a comment if I ever publish this. I might be too embarrassed to publish this. Okay, I've got the new bushing out, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it goes inside the washers, and then that goes in around the shaft. But what I found is interesting is there's the old bushing that came out the top. I bought these aftermarket, but look at that. See that little knob thing there? As if this bushing at some point was used and that locked into a hole in whatever it was in. There's no hole. Certainly no hole in those washers, so caught that. So we'll cut that off so that the thing can go down flat. Well, don't ask me how I got the old sector out, because I can't get the new one out in order to fix that bottom bushing, because it'll probably have the same knob on it. What I need to do, apparently, I didn't have to do the first time, is to take that bolt out. I'm on the right hand side. That's holding a rod. I think you can see it. Maybe you can't. Is that the right bolt? Yeah, it's holding this rod here, which goes down under, and it's a belt guide, dry belt guide. But when I try to get the sector down, it's hitting that rod. I must have turned it just enough last time. Maybe bushing was looser. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to take that off now because I don't want to leave that little knob on the bottom bushing, because then it's not going to fit right when you tighten her up. Okay, it appears I haven't taken the bolt right out. I think I've loosened it enough and I can wiggle that rod out of the way. We'll see. Because, you know, if you take it all the way out, it'll be hard to put back in. Okay, I appear to be eating crow. My idea of putting that bushing inside the washers, contrary to how I took it apart, if I try to put them in the washers now, unless the heat is heated up, I can't get the bushing into the washer because it holds the washer up. I'll try once more with it all the way, but it seems like the way it came out was right. The bushing goes in on top and then the washers, but I don't know why the big holes in the washers. I guess it's because oh, it's because the washers are thrust washers and they can't touch the shaft. So maybe I don't have the shaft up far enough and the washers go around the shaft. Now that would make sense, wouldn't it, guys and girls? I blew it again, maybe. I just maybe got to draw it up. I don't remember when I took it off whether the shaft went through those washers. But let me just take a washer. Look at that, guys! Where are we here? Fits right on the shaft. So obviously I've got to get the shaft up higher through the bushing, because yeah, through the bushing, and the washers will fit on the shaft. Ah, this is what a nightmare. What a lousy job I'm doing. So what my plan now is to got the bushings back in. I've got these two washers that I have to go over the shaft. But right now the shaft is flush with the bracket. So I'm going to put my bolt and this washer and stuff on and see if I can draw the shaft up through those washers so that they're on the shaft before I put the actual bolt in that belongs there. Okay, I'm having trouble using the washers to draw it up. So, oh, there's my finger. Plan C, D, E, or F, or G. This I will put over the shaft. It'll clear the shaft quite a bit, and yet I can get it in place. Then this washer on top, then put the bolt in and tighten her down. That should bring my shaft up so that I can get those other washers centered on it, because I can't seem to, putting the washers on and putting the bolt in, I can't seem to get them lined up with the shaft, because they're going to fit tight on the shaft. No, not much clearance. This might do it. There we go. I don't know if I stop this, but anyway, you can see the shaft is sticking up enough to catch those washers. Now I can finish it off.